Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with the second half of this week's vlog. After I was saying about my community that I love, I also love to go walking, and that is what has been helping me with my wellness component this week. So this past week has been very uplifting and it's been very challenging too. But I've been seeing a lot this week about the changes that I have been making, and you have to make a change and you have to want to do it. No one can choose, no one can, when you want to be healthy, regardless of what somebody else says or does, you have to be the one behind the change. No one can make that change for you. Nobody can stop you from putting the things in your mouth that are detrimental to that process. It's very challenging, yes, I know. Being autistic, I know it's more challenging when we get critiqued on it. And we always feel that our inner critic is always working against us, and that we are having challenging thoughts about what we should put in our mouth, what we should eat, what we should do, uh, you know, what somebody will say if they see us with something that they think we shouldn't have. We always worry if we're going to be yelled at or told about it, it's a challenge. If eating food, especially if you're overweight, such as myself, as you can see, and there is a common stereotype that many autistics are not overweight, but there are a good deal that are. Now, should we call them? Now, should we specifically point out their weight issue? No, we should not at all. That should be frowned upon, because it's only going to hurt their feelings, and they're going to get hypercritical, and we're going to get wound up about it. So we do know we have a problem. It's sometimes many times we do know. Now sometimes when we're of more of a skill need, we may not realize that, and just maybe wanting something or obsessing so much over something that we want it. And there are times that I have been there too. I was looking at some pictures from 2017, earlier this week, and I realized at those moments the first and only thing I could think of was where I was going to get my soda pop for the day, and sometimes it was just that. And then later that day, when I didn't have any, and at that time I was living with my parents, it was how can I get to the store to get that soda pop? And I would literally drag my parents down, not down to the store, but I would drag them through a bitter hell to make sure to demand that I wanted, something that they didn't want to do or they didn't feel I should have, because they knew it wasn't good. But they were also the ones who were responsible for my care at the time. Yet I was very, very wrong to them, and by treating them, by being very disrespectful, and more so as a person who was supposed to, at that point, who was supposed to, at that same very day, hours earlier, who was, to exemplify who a person who has overcome adversity was being a spoiled little brat because he didn't get his way. And when I say I was being a spoiled little brat, I was being a very, very rough spoiled little brat towards my parents. And I was screaming and yelling, almost getting sick because I couldn't have my drink. It was that bad. And I'm glad to say that we're looking 5 years now, and I do still face the battle. It's not as bad. I can go a day or two without it, but it's still a battle that we fight. And I have to learn that I can't always. It's not always going to be perfect, and we can't just go completely off or completely on, but we have to be mindful of what we are consuming, so that we're mindful of what our body intake is aware of, and that we have to be mindful what we put in our body, because for me, I have to get on a scale every week, and I'm responsible and accountable to that scale every week. And when I get on that scale, it's going to tell me, how I did that week, regardless, It's just if it makes me angry when it doesn't make me so angry that I'm totally mad, but it does present some anger when I don't think the scale delivers in the way it should. But in reality, that goes back to the saying that it is my responsibility, and I am responsible for what I put in my body. So why should I be mad at myself for making those choices? Because those choices were mine to make. I could have chosen to be more healthy and make more wiser food choices. Yes, I could have chosen to walk more if I could have, or done some more activity that would have kept me moving instead of being sedentary more. Absolutely. But the choice indeed is mine. Granted, I know there are some individuals who cannot help, are unable to make those decisions, and that is where the person who cares for them, it is their responsibility to make sure that they're eating well, and they're safe, and that their food needs are met. But we must recognize that if we are able to make those decisions and we want to make that change, we have to want it. That's the thing. We have to want to make that change. No one, if we don't want it, it's just going to make us be miserable and, make us feel like crap. And, frankly, I've had people tell me, why do you do it? We love you just the way you are. But, I know personally what I need to do to make that change, for myself, not for, it's for me because I know I need to be healthier. I know I don't like the way I feel sometimes. I know I'm going to be eventually, if I don't start taking care of myself, I know that, I'm going to be, this detrimental person who may need more care or may lose his independence because he doesn't realize that it's important that I'm speaking in the terms of myself, I may not realize that I should have done that way earlier. And granted, I am 36 years old right now, so I do have a good bit of life left of me if I take care of myself. And that's what I need to do. And that's why I focus on what I need to do. I need to focus on that why, because, you know, I want to be around for more people, and I want to be around so I can do more things that I want to do in life, not just live these 40 or so years. Or how I know it's not healthy to live the way that I live, although I'm told that I am healthy and there's nothing wrong with me. That may not necessarily be true at given a given moment. So I know I have to be wise about what I'm doing for my health, regardless of what people believe or what people think. you know, I have to want it from me. And that's the whole gist of the saying. If and how, I think we can't be so regimented on, um, how we being judged on what we do. I think, sometimes the inner critic is so bad for us, especially us that are autistic. It is so we are so hypercritical of ourselves for fearing that somebody's going to say something or somebody's going to do something that to us, that when we try to make those ideas that others may not agree with. But we must understand that we have to know what we are doing, and whatever works for us is what has to happen. It's just it's very touchy in a way, and it's very challenging in a way. But we must, be aware of our needs too, and understand that not everything may be easy, but if we want it, we will go for it. Now, looking ahead, today we have 34 days until the 5K that I want to do in the spring is coming up, and we have some nice days ahead of us, as I mentioned in my first video this week. So, I'm hoping to get out and hit the trail a little bit more in nicer weather and get to see, some beautiful sights, and try to get some training down for this 5K. I have a little countdown app on my phone. I want to be there for my mother. She wants to be there for me, and maybe a friend will come. I don't know, but it's a different this year than last year because last year it was on my birthday, which is in June. This year it's a Saturday before Easter, so a big change. But you know what? The weather, pray if we say some prayers, the weather will hopefully be nice and we can get to walk underway without any issue. And hopefully we do well. I hope I have a better time. I was an hour and 2 minutes last year. So hour and 1 minute, hour and 2 minutes. I'm not precisely sure the time I was last year, but I'm hoping maybe be under an hour at least. I'm doing good. I'm starting to have a 23-minute mile already, but hopefully in the next 5 weeks we get to a 22 or so minute mile or 20-minute mile. I'm hoping at least so that we can get under that hour. If I would goal would be a 20-minute hour. Hopefully, spring is around, and just like this picture here that I love, it's one of my favorite spring pictures of the city of where I live, and it's just hopefully that we have a turnaround as far as getting some training in and getting out there and getting some exercise and some nice weather and some nice music too. With that being said, I want to thank you for listening today. As always, you can like this video or dislike this video. You can be sure to tap that notification bells and subscribe to my channel if you like. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty, on the web at DustinsDynastyUSA.com, on Pinterest and TikTok at Dustin's Dynasty ASD, and on many many podcasting platforms, including Spotify, where this vlog will be transformed into a podcast. I want to thank you for listening and be sure to have a good and happy week, everyone.